Hey there, hope you're having a good one today. I wanted to make a quick video review on the Ride1Up electric bike. I'm in the market for a different electric bike that fits more of what I'm looking for, and I figured, hey, since I have the Ride1Up, I figured I'd give you guys a discussion or a quick overview on it just in case you're in the market. Editing James here. After making this video, I realized that Ride1Up no longer sells this bike. They now have a version 2, which has some of the features that I thought this bike should have originally had. But it's a little bit too late now to stop the video, so let's continue. With the electric bikes, it's really going to depend on your use case. So I figured if we spend a little time going over this, I can give you an idea of who I think this bike is good for, see if you fit that criteria, and also give you some alternative brands that you might consider. And then I'll probably put the price point. I forgot how much this was. This is a little bit older, but we're at 400 miles, so I figured it's a good time to kind of give it an overview. It's clearly been tested, broken in, so without further ado, let's jump into this, give you kind of a close-up, and tell you my thoughts. So in starting, I apologize if there's any wind sound. It's kind of windy out today. But here we go. We have the Ride1Up. It's a little bit dirty. I spared no expense. I didn't even clean this before the video because that's how good we're doing. Hey Quincy, how you doing, buddy? Say hello. Yeah, he's just chilling. All right, so first impressions. One thing I do like about this as an electric bike is the general look of it. If you notice here, it shares a lot similarity with a just regular bike, which is cool because some of those electric bikes you see, definitely you can tell it's an electric bike. Usually these frames right here are a lot thicker, or you could just tell at a quick look. I've had several people while riding this say, wow, like you should check out an electric bike. I'm like, dude, it is an electric bike. Who would have thought? So yeah, generally going over it, right up here at the top here, we have I'll turn it on for you. Boop. Speed, overall mileage at 408, battery level, and then it tells what setting you're on for like when you're pedaling for the speed. Okay, so starting off, my biggest complaint with this thing is the fact that the throttle is on the left-hand side, which, hey, you might not think that's a problem, but you'll notice, oh, hey, if you're driving one-handed for any reason, like if something's in your hand, you hit the brake, guess what? You are going straight over these handlebars, or you're sliding forward and just taking a whole bunch of metal frame to the crotch, which I have done, and not enjoyable. So that's definitely something I do want to mention. But with this bike, you also have not too many features for being an electric bike in this price point. Certain electric bikes, I know like electric, for example, has like a little headlight, has a little brake light, so when you do press the pedals, you actually get a brake light. So a little bit better for like driving on roads and signaling, things like that. This doesn't have anything. The only thing electronic you have on there is this little screen, and it will just light up, give you a backlit, so if you're driving at night, but nothing else. A little bit weird. One thing I do want to mention with this, I do like this battery design. A quick access key slot, put your key in there, give it a twist, and then you can just pull the battery right out. Size-wise, like, it's longer, but it's a little bit more narrow, which is nice. So if you were taking this somewhere, you could easily put the battery in a backpack, or if you had an extra battery and you wanted to swap midway through. Just want to say that's very nice. It does have a little battery indicator right here, but usually if it's below half, it just glows red. So if you're full, it's green, just to let you know. And then you can charge this while it's strapped to the bike, or you can also take the battery off. Kind of up to you. Comes with a standard charger that you have for all electric bikes. And the speed to charge isn't too bad. Alright, now just jumping into a few other features I want to mention. This does have 7 gears. The one thing I noticed when I first got this bike is it doesn't go into the 7th gear. It looks like, you'll see from this little spindle down here, it's still got one more little rail to go, but it does not go there. A little problem since I had the bike. I didn't bother too much with having it replaced or fixed because honestly, 6th gear is more than enough speed-wise. If you're just using the accelerator, I can get to around 21 to 22 before it kind of governs me off. But if you do turn this up to like, I think it goes to 5, if you're pedaling, with the accelerator, you also can get quite a bit faster. I usually can get this up to like 25 to 27, so pretty good speed. Then one thing you're going to notice kind of immediately, no suspension. Does that matter to some people? Not so much. If you're just in the city and you're kind of just driving back and forth and you're not worried about hitting some crazy speed bumps or taking it off-road, it might not be too much of an issue for you. I know one thing you can do is you can get one of those suspension seats, so at least you have a little bit of bounce, like in case you're going over speed bumps. But just baseline, no suspension for an electric bike, a little bit strange to me, especially when you can get equal bikes in this price range and they have, you know, like the lights on the front, brake lights, some suspension. So definitely a little bit weird. It's not a deal breaker, but as I said, it's application based. So if you're riding this in the city, that might not bother you, and it also might also be nice just to have a bike. Next quick chat is the tires. These are, I mean, it's going to be hard to see, but they're Kenda tires. Not too bad. If you look at the size, they're not too thick like fat tires that you see on some electric bikes. Still give you good traction. I do like the tire. I mean, I feel like it loses air pretty quick. And there's no leaks. I don't know. Could just, you know, I fill it up, still deflates. Maybe I just need a new tube. But something to consider. And then one thing I really like on this bike specifically is the kickstand. They actually give it a nice wide foot, which is nice. Like, it's a pretty thick stand. You know, like on a standard bike when you have the little small metal kickstand. I mean, if you're like parking in rocks or something like that, it just pokes right through, your bike tips over, kind of trashy. So with something like this, if you're on rocks, it still has a very good platform to hold itself up. And that wraps it up. As I said, super short video. I just wanted to kind of give you guys just a quick look at it, just in case you were in the market for Ride1Up, or if you're looking at different electric bikes and you're just like, oh, I wonder some of the features. You can kind of compare them. I know there's probably a bunch of videos on YouTube for the electric bikes, but I like making videos, so there we are. Who's this bike for? I definitely say if you're riding around cities, not doing like off-road biking or anything like that, this definitely might be good for you. One thing I do want to mention, it's pretty light. So like, I mean, I can pick it up fully with one hand, which is nice with the battery. So that is definitely useful for moving it around. And then just the frame in general, I kind of like that it's sleek. So if you want something that just looks like a regular bike, but you do have the ability to use the throttle and get around, definitely solid. Who's it not for? If you're an off-road biker, if you have a tender tailbone, not having suspension, pretty big deal. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but hitting or going over small curves, speed bumps, any trail you go on, you're going to have a bunch of bumps, and you kind of want the suspension to absorb some of that so you're not sitting there just going crazy. That's one thing to consider. Universally, a lot of these bikes, I feel like the range is pretty equivalent. It will slightly modify depending on the battery size, but I'm not putting any distance into this. This does more than what I'm using it for most of the time. As I said, it's good for like traveling around, take some garbage to the dump, like the trash can, check the mail, things like that, so it's not too far. That's why I only have 400 miles. This bike, not great for actual off-road trails, but like bike roads that are kind of paved like trails, good for it. Yeah, so there's that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add. Oh, one thing that I did like, the actual torque on this isn't crazy amount. I know on some of the electric bikes I've been on, I know the electric specifically, when I start to like pedal, the initial torque of the bike is quite a bit. So like if you were riding with no hands on the handlebars or something, it's a little bit of a motion. This one's pretty smooth and steady. So like if I start to pedal, I'm not gonna like get thrown off or jerk back, which is really nice. I do a lot of one-handed driving on this just because, as I said, I'm taking garbage up with it or something. So usually something's in my right hand because I do a lot of the manual throttle rather than the pedaling, depending on what I'm carrying. Yeah, so I think that sums this up. If you have any questions, I mean, drop them down below. I'd love to talk about it, chat with you guys. Let me know if this is something you're interested in, or if there is an electric bike that you think I should be looking at for my use case, because I definitely want to do some more off-road bike trails, and this just doesn't fit the docket. Yeah, and then if you want to, hit that subscribe button. You can see all the other random things that I do. I kind of just put whatever I'm doing on YouTube, and if you want to follow along, I mean, that'd be awesome. And that's it. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and until next time.